Good afternoon. Thank you for joining me for this after-school session about Brisk Teaching. This session is going to be a very basic introductory session on how to install the Brisk extension, and then I'll just go over a little bit of basic use on how the extension functions, because being an extension is a little bit different than using another online tool or software. So you can get started if you haven't already installed the extension. You can head on over to the Brisk website. If you use this short link that I'm showing here on the slide, that'll take you into their website. Once you get over there, you should see a green button at the top to click to add the extension to your Chrome for free. Clicking this will lead you out to the Chrome Web Store, where you can go ahead and click on the Add to Chrome button. From there, it's going to pop up and ask you if you're really sure you want to install the extension. You can click Add Extension. It's going to then pop up with the Google login screen, so you can go ahead and just click on the little toggle box to let them know that you accept their terms, and then you can continue with Google to log in with your Google account. On the next screen, you'll have a pop-up box that you are familiar with this. It's going to jump in and ask for that permission to your Google account. So once you've clicked all of those buttons, you should finally reach the Brisk introductory page, and the extension should be installed on your browser. So I'll just, at this point, actually close this presentation to show what that looks like. So once the extension is installed, it appears up here where extensions are. This Brisk Teaching, from here, you could close out as long as you're seeing this extension up here. They walk you through pinning the extension to your toolbar as well, which is a piece where if you click this little puzzle piece here, that's where you can see if you have extensions pinned. So I can see lots of people joining too as I'm speaking. So I'm just going to backtrack for a second and just make sure that we're all good with installing the extension. So I'm going to hop on over here. So if you go to briskteaching.com, you'll hit their homepage, and then you'll find they've got a nice link right here that takes you to the Chrome Web Store. Of course, when I click this, I've already got the extension installed, so I'm getting the Remove from Chrome button here, but here you go ahead and add the extension to Chrome, click through and give it the permissions, log in with your Google account. Once you have the extension installed, it should appear up here right away in your extensions. But as I say, if it doesn't, this little puzzle piece that's right next to this My Brisk extension here, that's where I can just go in and see. So we just want to make sure that this is pinned, and that's going to allow the Brisk extension to pop up where it can. So now I'm going to go back. So this page that I'm on, I would actually highly recommend bookmarking, but you can always get back to it by just Googling Brisk or getting to the Brisk homepage, and then under the tools menu, going to the all 30 plus tools. So Brisk is an extension, which means it's just an added-on function to Google Chrome. It's not like if you're familiar with something like Magic School AI, where you go to the Magic School website and they have a whole bunch of different tools, and you pick one of their tools, and then you work within their website. The Brisk extension actually works where you are working. So it will be there if you're in a Google Doc, if you're in a Google Slides or Forms, and it will also appear on most websites as well as YouTube. So this is the Brisk Try It demo page. So if you watch any of their PD videos or you attend a Brisk session, you'll find that they always bring you to this page where they have all of the different tools that they have within their software listed. But as I say, to launch the tool, you're most often going to be starting on a website or in a Google Doc or a slides or something
Like I just want to
like
get
that.
if I get a
I
general
can
idea
actually
what it
take
is,
care of
then I
that.
can probably go in and play with it and figure it out myself. So I just wanted to.
Excuse me. So I'm just gonna quickly, well, actually, I want to ask. I'm gonna peek in the chat and make sure if anybody has questions or had any issues installing the extension. Feel free to ask. I'm happy to help you, and we can even hang on at the end of the session if we need to get you into some things. But it should go install and you should be good to go. You might need to reload a page if you were in a Google document or something to see that pop up. It's not popping up on this Brisk website because this one would be unique with all of their different tools here. So this is a place that you can come to start. Like I said, if you go to the Brisk site, just go all 30 plus tools, you'll land on this page. And then you'll find that as you go to create things from here, it's going to start that new Google Doc, maybe a slides presentation if that's what you're doing, or forms. So those are the only 3 Google apps at this time that Brisk is working inside of, but it does have the ability to create presentations and quizzes, which is really cool. So these are as it says on the site, these are the teacher's top tools. Then we can see all of the instructional materials. So these are essentially, this is like a template AI in the background. They've got that sort of the prompting set up in for you so that you can just go in and quickly enter your information, and it knows what a lesson plan looks like. So it's going to format it out the way that a lesson plan looks. And the other things on here, I haven't had time to play with all of these tools. So like something like the math word problems, really specific, but it sounds really powerful. I did watch all of the PD videos, the short bites that they have on each of these tools, and I thought I saw lots of really great stuff. So first things first, once you get the extension installed, I'd say click some things and do some exploring and just play around and get to know it. That's in lots of instructional materials. Then they've got a specific area for student interventions. When you're writing goals for IEPs, this can be just helpful for wordsmithing. So we're not putting IEPs in here, but we can put in information about an unnamed student, and it can help us develop not only IEP goals, there's intervention plans. And so it can do some really powerful things in that world also. And then they've got some just administrative tasks. So for our non-teacher WRPS people, or administrators and non-teacher people, there are a few administrative tasks that are just embedded as well. The observation notes was a really cool one when I watched the videos. Just principal comes in, they're watching teacher, they've got some notes, they can put the notes in, and then it puts it out into a nice template. And then, as I say, all of this, everything that's being created by the Brisk AI is happening within, like I say, a Google Docs or a slides presentation or forms. Once the AI has done its work, you are just left with an editable document that then you can take and edit and add that human touch to. So when you're watching the Brisk videos, I think in almost every one of them, they talk about how Brisk does 80% of the tedious work so that you can do that 20% most important work and focus your time better. So those are just a few admin things. Actually, the newsletter generator was pretty cool too, because you can just drop in notes about what should be in the newsletter, and it'll put it all into a nice, neat little template that, again, you can just go in and add your photos and do some quick editing too. So that's there. And then another really powerful piece that will definitely be having some more PD on for teachers is the ability to do feedback for students. And so they've got several tools that give different kinds of feedback. This is going to be, I have a student's document open. The Brisk extension is available to me as a teacher. It is not available as an extension to students at this point in time. However, that is a possibility. So with our pilot, students would be included. And so with proper parental notifications and those kinds of things, we could look at exploring the Boost extension where students could actually use this to get that feedback themselves. So in the case of this, we're talking about, teachers, you're in a Google Doc, the Brisk extension will be there, and then you can use these different feedback tools to give your students some targeted feedback. It'll even give them things that they can do to practice to improve areas that they're weak in. And then the Insights tool, this is after you have used Brisk on 5 student assignments, it will actually start building programming ideas for you and interventions and lesson ideas for students specifically based on what they need for their writing. So really powerful in supporting student writing. Definitely looking at, probably at this point, we'd be looking at high school teachers to do some piloting with students. So if that's something you're interested in, reach out to me. We'll see if how we can make that happen, because I think that would be really powerful too. And then just down at the bottom, these are also powerful. The Inspect Student Writing basically creates a video of the revision history of the student's work. So I used to actually share an extension with teachers. If you have been around as long as I've been doing ed tech and sat with me, I might have shared it with you too. But it did the same thing and then it went away. So I'm happy to see that this is here. So this is going to catch if students have copied and pasted large chunks of text into their doc. It gives you a view. It's actually really interesting to watch a recording of how a student wrote something, because it can really make you think about their thought processes and stuff too as you watch them, backspace and change a sentence, or like I said, if they happen to have copied and pasted from somewhere, you're going to see that as well. It does do a little bit of AI detection. So as much as really anything can do a perfect detection of AI, because there isn't a tool that could say, 100% your student did not write this themselves. This Brisk does offer you that ability. So within that Inspect Writing tool, it will give you sort of on a scale where it thinks how high the likelihood is that that was totally created using AI. So it does do a bit of that monitoring and checking to see. And then, like I said, that actually being able to replay the whole process of that document being created is possible too. And then also, these two, the changing reading levels. So you can take any piece of writing and pop it in there. It will do a real quick analysis and assign what it thinks is the grade level to it. And then you can level it up, you can level it down. So it makes passages that might not have been accessible to students just because of reading abilities, you can still make them available with this. It does it really quickly. And then also if you needed to translate something for students that are English as second language, you can use their translate tool too, which is supposed to be really amazing as well. So that's this overview page. I mentioned these already. I hope I've got my tabs in order. So I highly recommend bookmarking this playlist. In fact, I'll even just pop this in the chat right now for those of you that would like to do that right away. So these Brisk Bites are fantastic. There's one for each of those items over on this page. So if you're wondering, syllabus generator, how's that function? We can just head on over here and find that Brisk Bite. They're all under 4 minutes long, which makes them very manageable. And they're good presenters. They've got great ideas. So I suggest checking those out when you have a little bit of time. They will give you a good overview of all of the things that are in there for tools. And I did go right by this one. So even though there's all of these things listed here, and it is very teachery, they have this one that's just called Try Something Else, which I'm actually going to use that one right now. So from this Brisk page, when you click Try It, as I said, it's just gone ahead and created a blank Google document for me. That's what it will do, unless you're doing specifically the presentation or the form. Everything else it's gonna assume is a Google document. So it creates a blank document and then just automatically opens the Brisk extension for me. I'll just close it. So when you're looking at a Google Doc, once you have the extension installed and pinned, you should be seeing the Brisk extension popping up like this in the bottom of your Google Doc. And that's what opens essentially their AI chatbot. So from this first little screen, I'm just going to hit create. And now these are all of those items that we saw on that previous page, just within the small little window here. And so from this, if I was to pick, again, quiz or presentation, it would go and make the slides or a Google form if I tell it, but all of these other things are just going to happen right within this document. I'm going to go ahead and just pick lesson plan, and I'm also going to see if I can make that a little easier to see on my screen for you. So, and I'm also just going to X these out. So this is the AI chatbot. So this is the same as if you were on, any other of the many AI platforms that are out there. I can have a dialogue with this. I can tell it what I want, and it's going to make it, and it's going to do it in the Google document in this case. So I chose lesson plan. I can change my mind by clicking this button here and get back to that screen with all of the different buttons on here. I could choose to have it in any of many languages. Oh, they even have Canadian English separately. I'm going to pick that. I had not noticed that there before. And then if I click in standards, I will actually find Alberta, Canada in this list. I've been spending a bit of time working shoulder to shoulder with some elementary teachers since we launched this. And I'm going to say that the curriculum upload isn't perfect, because I'm finding some standards repeated, and in some cases they've got more specific skills and processes, but it is all here for sure, at least at the top unit level, and I can just pick up to 3 standards, so only 3, to attach to anything that I'm asking Brisk to create. So in this case, I was doing a lesson plan, but this could be, again, a quiz, a presentation, and I just need to put some instructions in here. So as always with AI, the more information you give it, the more specific your instructions are, the better the results are going to be. For the sake of time, I'm not going to follow that advice. I'm going to be really quick and just say, create a lesson plan. And of course, American company, we are using standards as language here, though I'm pretty sure it understands outcomes as well. And so I can make a change to the grade level that this is. I don't even remember what grade I picked curriculum from. I think it was, let's go 7th. And I can change how long I want the lesson to take. Let's go just a 40-minute lesson. And then I'll just hit brisket. So depending on how long of an item you're creating, of course, it can take some time for the AI to generate, especially slides presentations. Obviously, that's a big one. And of course, depending how many slides. So again, it's got that template in the background that it understands what a lesson plan looks like. So it's gone through and created us a nice looking lesson plan with some activities and the outcomes at the top. And then it always will pop up with these some extra options. So this was a lesson plan, so I can make it shorter, make it longer. I can interact with this chatbot and ask it to do anything I want it to do. So one place that Brisk is different than some of the other tools I've used is if I did ask it to make a change, it is going to actually do another whole lesson plan after the one that's there. So either just keeping in mind that you'll be deleting pages if you're making a ton of changes. That's something a little bit different with it being an extension. And then from here, it's also offering me, hey, do you want to make some worksheets for this, or do you want to make a quiz? And these would actually, again, open out new document. I'm going to show you the quizzes. I'll actually just click quiz. to show you. So when I click a quiz, it gives me the option to add it into this document. But every time I make a quiz, it also offers me the option to make a Google form. And what's really cool about that is it is a self-marking Google form with the answers and everything all put in already. Ooh, that's very big. I'm going to leave that one actually going and just jump over to one that I previously made as I'm watching my time ticking very quickly. So always in a Google Doc, the extension is there. You can see it's popping up here and in my form too. So if I click this, it's going to give me the options to edit this quiz. When this one over here is done generating, it'll pop up the same thing. And then you can see down here, I can add a short response or a long response or more multiple choice questions. If I don't think these questions are good, I can trash them. I can change the wording. It's just gone and created that form that now I can go ahead and edit before sharing with my students. And then, as I said, it's made it a quiz. The questions do all have the answer key. So that's actually, I think, really, really cool. And this one was done from a YouTube video. So when I go to YouTube now that I have extension installed, it will appear down here. It has a nice little red halo around it when we're on YouTube, and it will allow you to create anything you like out of a YouTube video as well, as long as the YouTube video has a transcript. So some YouTube videos are posted without transcripts by design, and that's actually companies protecting content. And others, it may be that it hasn't processed yet, or for whatever reason, it doesn't have transcripts. So if it doesn't have a transcript, Brisk won't be able to build anything out of it. But if it does, it can make quizzes, slideshows, lesson plans, anything that you could ask it to, write a synquane about this video, and it would be able to do that. And same thing, I could have, that's actually, I have standards attached. So by default, it's left the outcomes that I was working in attached into the extension. I can just close those out here. I'm pretty sure science outcomes would not be specific to this. And then, like I said, this one, I actually told this one to create 20 questions, and I think I saw it created 35. And then I added in some at the end. So I could have Brisk add some more questions. They could be multiple choice, short response, or long response, and tell it how many. I can also just go on in and add my own question if I want to. So YouTube videos, as long as they have a transcript, if it's got, that was what I thought that slipped, is if it has a closed captioning button on it like this, it likely means there is a transcript attached. So that's a good sign that Brisk is not going to tell you that it could not brisk it. So that was the Google form created directly out of YouTube. This is a slides presentation that Brisk created. So as I said, slides do take longer, and teachers working in the evenings, I found Brisk is a lot slower in the evenings, and I've been getting warnings actually even every so often. It'll tell me that we're real sorry, but we're too busy to brisk this for you right now. So if you get that message, I never had it impact me very long. Pretty much it would say refresh, and the next time I tried, everything was fine. So technology is what it is. It doesn't always work perfectly. Slideshows take the longest to prepare, and especially if they're long. But this was an example where I went in and just grabbed the standards that I think this was some junior high science, grade 7, picked those outcomes in there and said, create me a slides presentation on those outcomes. It's not super fancy, but it covers the content, and it creates a great place for me to start designing my lesson without having to have had done all of that basic work ahead. That's my blank document. So I'm just gonna, I've got 5 minutes. I'll just show as many examples as I can get through in 5 minutes. If anybody has any questions, you can feel free to pop it into the chat or unmute. And this, so this one I attached a rubric to. So within the feedback, there's a rubric feedback you can give students. You can attach a PDF copy of a rubric that you use with your kids. This actually, it was actually the grade 6 PAT that this one came from. So I would say the old grade 6 old curriculum PAT. So this is actually taken the headers off that rubric and designed feedback for my student based on the rubric, and then actually put it right into their assignment. So this is the kids writing, and it just popped that feedback right at the top of their document. That's just the rubric feedback on this one. I don't know if I did another one. This is a rubric that Brisk created. So in this case, I clicked on some of the writing standards in grade 6 just to see what it would come up with for a rubric. So this one too, then I could turn around and attach back into a feedback or a lesson for my students. I could take this rubric and ask Brisk to design a bunch of lessons to teach each of these criteria to students, and it would do that easily for me. And it does, when it's creating a rubric, it looks really, really ugly until the very last second. Everything just looks like a big mass of text. And then at the very last second, it will magically appear into this nice, beautiful grid format. What else have I got up here? This was a example of, maybe getting help writing an email. So Brisk's not going to pop up for you in Gmail. If you need help with an email, you would need to copy and paste the content of the email either into a Google Doc and then activate the Brisk extension. Or if you started a blank document, you can also paste it right into the prompt generator. I'll just click email. So if I ask it to just do it on the content and this what I've pasted in here, it's going to write that response. I could just write a response and paste it in here too, which I did for this one. Said, let's let this teacher down gently. So it's it took what I said. I think I said, find a way to say no, but applaud the teacher's initiative. And it wrote a really great email for me back. Took me just a minute to copy and paste in and get some help with that wording. And then again, this is not going to be in Gmail. I have to copy and paste it over, but really helpful and just helping with some wording. This is now actually resources from Brisk. So this is a Brisk slideshow that I will send to everyone along with the link to the video that just shows some different ideas and examples and ways that you can use Brisk to create some things for your students. So I will share that with you. This is their pilot checklist. It's also a great place to start with just some quick suggestions of ways to get using the tool and things that you can make and use with your students right away. This is their prompt library, which is really cool. So they have teachers sharing the prompts that they're using to create things using Brisk, and they're bringing it all together onto this spreadsheet that they share out with divisions who are signed up. So as you can see, there's lots of tabs along the bottom. I can sort and look at the different ways that they've categorized. And when I was meeting with the salespeople, they said, watch this, it's updating. So again, just to help share ideas and make less work. Somebody's possibly created exactly what you're looking for already. What else do I have to share? Oh, this one's not supposed to be over here. This is a lesson plan. My last two. So this link, this document, and these slides I'm going to share with you guys. I'll pop the link to that, all their videos in when I send that email out as well. It should go up on the EdTech website at some point. If you have any questions, if you run into any issues, as always, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help. If there's something specific you would like to see a session on, let me know that too. I have reached out to some colleagues in WRPS who have actually been using this in the classroom with students and can show you some of the amazing things that they have been doing. So I've got those lined up for some later PD days. At the end of the month here on the 31st, we do have the Brisk team coming to do one. And I can request from them whatever people want to see. So same thing, if you have something specific which you'd like them to show, let me know and I will ask. Otherwise, I'm definitely going to ask them to show some of the feedback tools, because I think those are really powerful and what makes Brisk unique from maybe some of the AI content generation things out there that you've already been using or have heard of. Thanks for coming. I'm going to stop the recording right now.